Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to welcome Mike Irwin, the Regional Director for the TSA, of course, Transportation Security Administration. Mike, good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, Regional Director, what is your region?
I've got all the states west of Colorado, 8 states, so basically Pacific Northwest, including Alaska.
Okay, so you're dealing with a lot of legalization of marijuana, unlike some other portions, some other regional directors in the country.
Right.
How is that managed? The rules, you can fly in Oregon with a certain amount of marijuana, but what about out of state?
Well, for out of state, it's still a federal offense, right? And so we don't really get involved in the management of that. We're looking for certain things at the checkpoint. Marijuana is not one of them, but if we come across it in the course of our searching for things that might be harmful to passengers or airplanes, we normally turn that over to the port police. And Oregon has laws basically allow a certain amount. I'm not an expert on it, but you won't be able to carry large amounts of marijuana outside the state lines because of the federal jurisdiction, and we don't do that now anyhow.
Okay, all right. So I want to ask you about Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson. He ordered some changes to the screening process due to some weaknesses revealed in an internal report to his office that was subsequently leaked. So what are some of those changes that you're seeing? Well,
it's back to basics. There's nothing different about how we operate the machines or the procedures that we do. So it's basically taking our 42,000 screeners back through basics. We screen 2 million people a day, and we want to make sure that we're doing it correct and we're operating the machinery correctly, and the officers themselves are paying attention to the procedures. Now in Oregon, we had great results in our tests, so we're just going to get better than we already are.
Okay, so how do you balance that need for obviously tight security and keeping people safe on the planes, but also, you know, trying to keep the process streamlined and moving through?
Oh, absolutely. Look, one of the things that we do is really pay attention to the economic security piece of this. I mean, our job is to keep all transportation, not just airports, but mass transit, rail, pipeline, highway. People normally don't know that about TSA, but that's part of our mission. And we try to keep the flow of goods and commerce moving. And this will be the busiest year that we've ever had at PDX and most of our airports throughout Oregon and throughout the country. The economy has picked up since 2008, more people flying than ever before. And because of budget cuts, we actually have less officers than we've ever had before. So we institute risk-based security and really look at doing different levels of screening for different levels of risk. And so that's one of the things that we pay attention to. We have the TSA pre-check program where people that sign up and provide some information to make sure that we can check them against a no-fly list or other kinds of lists can go through relatively quickly. And so we're trying to be very efficient because we want people on airplanes and we want more people to fly. That's kind of at the genesis of why we were formed.
Okay, very good. We're going to take a quick break. Okay. Much more with Mike in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Regional Director for the Transportation Security Administration, Mike Irwin. So, Mike, it's been a while since 9/11. How has public sentiment changed, and has that affected your business at all?
Well, you know, the American public has kind of a short memory. There's so many things going on in the world. It's been 13 years, and so it has changed our job. For instance, we have double the number of loaded weapons coming through checkpoints now than before. Not on purpose. People just forget them, and they bring them through. Wow. You would never have seen that in the first couple of years because people were very vigilant. The other thing that's changed, and an interesting dynamic for me with the people that we're bringing on, the 18 and 19-year-old young people that we're bringing on to be officers were the same age now when 9/11 happened as I was when John F. Kennedy was shot. And I use that as an example all the time of going, for me, that was kind of a history lesson. But for them, we have to spend a lot of time talking about why we were formed in the first place as an agency.
Wow. Yeah, I imagine that's a whole different ballgame for some people in the
Absolutely.
administration. So talk about the hiring process. You guys, I guess, have just recently done some hirings here in the Medford area, but you're going to continue in the near future.
We are. So we have a lot of people. There's 450 airports and 42,000 people in TSA. It's one of the largest organizations within the Department of Homeland Security. And so we have a lot of movement, a lot of people moving, a lot of people getting promoted, moving to other airports. Like I like to tell everybody, if you want to keep working for TSA, I guarantee wherever you move, there's an airport and a job for you. So we do a lot of transfers and people moving around, and because it's been 13 years, a lot of people that came from other jobs are retiring now. So lots of openings, and so when we open up an advertisement, as we recently did in Medford, and also for Portland, we have a lot of people showing up now. We're also hiring full-time as well as part-time. We did a hiring event in Portland on Wednesday. We had 800 people show up for that opportunity to work for TSA.
Wow.
So we're going to continue to do that. You've got to be 18, high school degree, and be able to pass some tests. It takes 3 to 4 months to get through that process, but we have so many people, young people that have joined this agency that have moved on to other areas in the Department of Homeland Security, other areas of government. We're very proud of them.
Very good. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate
Thank you.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.